When the one with the rifle gets killed, the one who is following picks up the rifle and shoots.
Welcome to the 24th episode of the Pick Up the Rifle and Shoot series, featuring my 2011 CZ452FS 22 bolt action rifle. The CZ452 is a legend in itself. With more than 60 years of production, it is a classic 22 rimfire bolt action made in the old ways of blue steel and walnut. And although they are now discontinued, they are still considered even today one of the best 22 bolt action rifles ever made, and arguably even better than the current successors. Now my example is one of the rarer 452 variants, the FS, short for full stock, where the walnut stock extends all the way to the muzzle, and in my very biased opinion, it's the best one out of the bunch. So here she is, my 2011 CZ452FS 22 bolt action rifle. I acquired my 452 used from the original owner back in 2017, and since then I've only done some general plinking here and there. Nowhere near what I do for the Pick Up a Rifle and Shoot series. It's not until I shot her for this episode and really putting her through her paces that all this time, sitting in the back of my safe collecting dust, was the most accurate, smoothest 22 bolt action rifle I would ever shoot. Now this makes me wonder what other hidden gems are in the back of my safe. Now I'll go over in more detail, but first let's make sure she's all clear. I left the single shot adapter in the rifle as there was no point in removing it. First up is the beautiful walnut stock and the large rubber butt pad with the CZ logo. I feel the rubber butt pad was unnecessary, especially for a 22. It made the length of pole too long for my taste. Moving up, here you can see the beautiful tiger striping on the stock and the beautiful checkering on the grip. Next up is the blued receiver. Here you can see the proof marks along with the manufacturer engravings of CZ452 2E ZKM CZUSA Kansas City, Kansas. Up top, the receiver has dovetails to mount an optic, and on the back of the bolt is the safety. Forward position is safe, and back is for fire. Next up is the beautiful fully adjustable rear tangent sight. Elevation is calibrated in meters and can be adjusted by moving the slider from 25 to 200, and the windage can be adjusted by loosening and tightening the set screws on both sides to move the rear sight blade. On the barrel, you can also see the caliber marking of Cal 22 long rifle. The cold hammer forged barrel is 20.7 inches long and has beautiful bluing throughout. On the business end, the covered front sight is adjustable for elevation and is adjusted by loosening the front set screw to move the blade up and down. Now, let's go flip around to the other side. Here's another view of the beautiful walnut stock. As mentioned earlier, the length of pole is a little long for me, and I'm considering replacing the pad or having it shortened. Next is the bolt, beautifully machined with very nice bluing. The bolt's action itself is the smoothest and slickest I've ever experienced on a 22 rifle, and it allows for very quick, precise manipulations. An absolute joy to work. On the right side of the receiver, you can see the Made in Czech Republic engraving on the rear, and in the front the serial number, which corresponds with the manufacturer date of June 22, 2011. Moving along, the trigger is a little heavy, but it is adjustable from 14 to 18 newtons per CZ's manual. The previous owner did not make any adjustments and left it the same way as it came from the factory. And lastly, on the bottom, you can see the single stack magazine opening with the release latch on the front. Overall, I'm very happy with my CZ452FS 22 bolt action rifle. Her full stock really stands out, and in my opinion, she's the best looking 452 variation. I shot over a brick of CCI standard velocity through her in the last couple of weeks, and have been completely amazed on how well she shot, with her impressive accuracy. And as I said before, shooting 22s is what made me the shooter I am today. And my 452 elevated my marksmanship skill to another level, as you'll see. So with that, let's get on with the shooting. Off to the 25-yard range. Now, after some initial ammo testing and playing with different torque settings for the action screws, I found that CCI standard velocity with a torque at 18 inch-pounds shot the best for my 452. So, with that setup, I decided to zero at 25 yards, point of aim, point of impact with the center mass hold. I set the rear elevation slider at 25 and adjusted the front sight elevation and rear windage until all rounds hit the center of the target. I then shot these 5 rounds to confirm my 25 yard zero. Let's see how it went. As you can see, all the rounds hit center with no issues or malfunctions. Now, my curiosity set in. With a 25 yard zero, I wanted to see where the point of impact would be at 50 yards with the rear slider at 50. Remember, the rear sight is calibrated in meters, so I'm expecting the hits to be a little high. Well, let's see how it went. As you can see, the rounds impacted 1.5 inches high from my point of aim, and the windage was still dead on perfect. Very cool. Now, let's see how she does at 100 meters. I adjusted the rear slider to 100 and expected the rounds to hit high, like at 50 yards. So I did a 6 o'clock hold instead of center mass and shot these 5 rounds to confirm. Let's see how it went. The target I'm using is a 12-inch circle shoot and see target from Big Dog Targets. The first circle is 4 inches in diameter and the second circle is 8. As you can see, the first 5 rounds grouped very well, a 1 3/4 inch group. I'm very impressed, especially this being my first 5 rounds at 100 meters. Now, let's load up another 5 rounds. In my opinion, 10 rounds gives the shooter the best measure of what their rifle is capable of and what they're capable of, and 5 rounds just isn't enough. So, the next 5 rounds grouped in the same area as the first, with the exception of 2. And with that data, I can conclude my 2011 CZ452FS can at least do 1.8 MOA at 100 meters with the ammo that I'm using, CCI standard velocity 40 grain. Shooting 10 rounds gives me an honest measurement of my capability with the ammo that I'm using. I'll measure 8 out of 10 rounds 80%, allowing for shoot errors and flyers. Now, I know she can do a whole lot better than 1.8 MOA, especially looking at that 5 round group, which measured 1.4 inches, which is 1.3 MOA. And this is all with stock iron sights. Very cool. Now, it's time for the RAM challenge. I set up a shooting gallery of 5 1/5 scale rams at 100 meters and challenged myself to knock them off in only 10 rounds. My aim point is at the bottom of the ram, a 6 o'clock hold. Let's see how it went. Unfortunately, the third round missed. and I circled the area so you could see where it hit. Damn, I was so sure I was gonna get 5 out of 5 this time around. I superimposed all the hits so you can see how the group looks like. About a 2-inch group at 100 meters without the hit on the left. Honestly, I'm happy I completed the challenge on my first try, but I was so sure I could finally get a perfect string, 5 out of 5, especially how well she's been shooting. But it is what it is. Challenge completed. Now, I normally would just end the episode at this point, but there is something about the rear Tanya side that kept calling out to me. Like Rosebud and Citizen Kane. 200, it would say. So, I said, why not? Off to the 200-yard range. Now, my initial groups at 200 yards with the rear slider at 200 with the 25-yard zero were hitting about 12 to 16 inches high, using a 6 o'clock hold. So, I adjusted the rear slider to the notch between 175 and 200 and proceeded to shoot 5 rounds. Let's see how it went. Now, I'm very impressed. 3 of the 5 rounds grouped very well, with the elevation being spot on. Those 3 rounds measured 2 inches at 200 yards. But as you already know, shooting 5 rounds just isn't enough. 10 rounds, in my opinion, gives the shooter the best measure of what the rifle is capable of and what they're capable of. Now, let's load up another 5 rounds. As you can see, the next 5 rounds group in the same area with 3 rounds from the first group, and with that data, I could conclude my 2011 CZ452FS can at least do 2.19 MOA at 200 yards with the ammo that I'm using, CCI standard velocity 40 grain. Now seeing is believing, and she could definitely do a whole lot better than 2.19 MOA, especially looking at that 5 round group, which measured 2.1 inches, which is 1.05 MOA. Again, all this with stock iron sights. I even still have enough elevation to probably reach out to 300 yards. Simply amazing. Now, for the first time ever, I decided to compete with my 452 in the 2023 Cabin Fever Challenge Division 6 Rimfire. The Cabin Fever Challenge is a shooting competition organized by YouTuber Rifle Chair that challenges a shooter in time positional shooting with mandatory reloads. 20 rounds are shot, 5 in each position of standing, kneeling, prone, and sitting. Scores are calculated by the number of hits multiplied by 5, divided by time in seconds, then multiplied by 100 for the final score. For Division 6 Rimfire, the distance is 50 meters with a 4-inch bullseye target. Let's see how I did. 2023 Cabin Fever Challenge 22 Rimfire Division 6. With 17 hits at 92 seconds, my score ironically is also 92. Not bad for a first timer. I shot standing, prone, and sitting before, but kneeling was something new, and I'll definitely have to practice more in that position. Man, I had an absolute blast doing this challenge, and I'm hoping it will inspire some of you to try it next time. So there you have it, my 2011 CZ452FS, the most accurate 22 rifle that I own. Able to shoot for groups, even on the way to 200 yards, clear the RAM challenge with ease, and shoot a respectable score on the Cabin Fever challenge. I certainly put her through her paces for this episode, running her hard and fast, and I'm truly impressed with her accuracy and performance. It makes me very proud to own such a rifle. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did making it. Again, as always, thanks for watching.